Real quick, I just want to say I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not telling you to do anything or prescribing any way of eating or living. So this is just what I'm going to do in my experience. Yeah. Bye. Or I'll see you in a second. Whoa, look at my hair. It's gonna be like this, I think, throughout the video, but this is after I've done the whole video, but you're about to see the video, but this is after, which is confusing. Okay, bye. Hey guys. Okay, real quickly, in case this following explanation is too much or it doesn't make sense, essentially, I'm suggesting, as others are as well, that our current environmental degradation is leading to major degenerative diseases. Like, it's a leading cause, it's a leading factor to humongous things that are enormous problem, like autism and multiple sclerosis and celiac disease and ADHD and various cancers and infertility. I mean, I could keep listing off various things. It's disrupting our microbiome and almost causing our bodies to not be able to repair like they used to do, or even kind of attacking our own bodies. That's what a lot of autoimmune disease is. So I think I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. I just sneezed, and I'm just gonna let you watch the video, and my hair keeps getting crazier. Bye. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze again. This is probably the glyphosate, and I may have said glyphosate, but I meant glyphosate. Bye. Hello. Can't really tell where the camera is. I think I can see it. So maybe I'll look at it or look to see what I look like in the camera the whole time. So as you all know, some of you, I like to do food challenges. Not like eating as many crystal burgers as I can in a row or eating as much cereal as I can, though I would like to do that one. But like healthy food challenges. So my next one, or that I'm about to start, or I'm kind of already in the midst of, is eating only local for at least a month, maybe 2 months. And I have a lot of reasons for this. And when I say eating local, I mean locally grown in Tennessee, because I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, and or at least within a 100-mile radius. Maybe I'll make it smaller. So locally grown, locally sourced, and not just because I want to support local, which I do, but has to do with a lot of health reasons. One, I'd like to preface with, I've not always embraced organic. I've been into healthy food for quite a while. Not that I always eat healthy food, but I've been immersed in nutrition and healthy eating and nutritional epidemiology, and it wildly interests me, and I think it pertains to a great many things. But I didn't really embrace organic, partially or mostly because I'm frugal and cheap, and I thought that I could just get a better deal by getting non-organic. I like a good deal. But maybe I actually haven't been getting a good deal by buying cheaper produce. Because maybe it's a lot more expensive to pay for medical bills. I need to plan these videos out. I've struggled with a couple of autoimmune diseases. Nothing crazy, really, necessarily, or just had some health issues the past 2 years, last year more so maybe. And I just haven't been able to figure it out. But I think there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of health issues, and it doesn't really make sense, and they don't know why, and they don't know what to do about it, and it's really discouraging. So I've been immersing myself in what really goes on to all of our crops and produce, the vegetables and fruit that we're eating, the grains and legumes. And with some of the research I've done previously, or maybe now, I haven't had so much issue with genetically modified, because I think we, for years and years and years, have genetically modified things so that they grow in a way that makes them more edible. I'm not going to speak so much on genetic modification. I'm going to speak more on glyphosate. I filmed another video recently that I had to trash because I kept saying glyphosate, which is essentially, it's Roundup, what you spray on the weeds in the yard. You know, in the 80s or 90s, they had that commercial where the manly dude had the backpack on of Roundup, and or maybe he didn't have a backpack on, but he made it look like he was shooting dandelions. So it made it a manly thing to kill dandelions. Good marketing, bad idea for your health. So glyphosate is sprayed on most conventionally grown produce, crops, and it's an as I said, I think it's an herbicide, or it's antimicrobial. It's essentially like an antibiotic, somewhat being sprayed over everything, and it's to prevent other things from growing that shouldn't be growing, like weeds and maybe fungi and bacteria, but the crops, or the seeds that are planted for the crops that they actually want to grow, those are genetically modified to be resistant to glyphosate. So those remain alive, but everything else around it will die. Okay. Let's hear it again. So it's been marketed that glyphosate does not injure any part, is not detrimental to humans. Well, first, I should talk about what it does to the plants or the fungi. Is it fungi or fungi? I'm going to say fungi. Fungi and bacteria. So what it does to them, it essentially cuts off the shikimic pathway. Whenever anyone else says, it sounds like there's a shikimic pathway, but it looks like shikimic to me. Anyway, interesting word. It I guess kind of cuts off the shikimic pathway, which prevents it from building proteins. So the plant can't keep going, or the fungi or bacteria can't keep growing and building, so it just kind of shrivels away and dies. And because humans don't have that pathway, they don't have the shikimic pathway, it's been marketed that glyphosate and Roundup are not detrimental to humans if they eat produce that has it in it, or encounter it. It's okay because we don't have that shikimic pathway. But there have been a lot of studies that have come out really a long time ago, and then a lot more recently. So they've been aware of this. Whoever they are, shoot, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so studies have come out. Also, do you all see this little head up here? That's Madame Beauvoir. She's been around for a while. Anyway. Okay. Well, a lot of studies have come out that it is detrimental to humans, and it is in our produce for sure. A medical doctor, Zach Bush, that I follow and kind of got me really into this. Highly recommend you checking him out, zachbushmd.com. He used the metaphor that glyphosate is kind of like, to the human body, when a doctor prescribes you a prescription, some medicine for a certain illness or symptom, it normally has side effects. Glyphosate, though we don't have that shikimic pathway that fungi and bacteria do, there are still other side effects that occur or happen to us. The destruction occurs through a different pathway in humans. Okay, so when we intake glyphosate, it's not cutting off the shikimic pathway because we don't have it, but it is still injuring us. I'm not explaining this well. So what it does when it gets into our body, which it's in lots of times, it's in the produce, the vegetables, the grains, legumes. It's also in our water systems. Hearing that it's in the rain. But anyway, so when it gets in our body, it kind of attacks or causes direct injury to, one, our gut lining, but it's all these, it's like this Velcro-like protein structure that is a lining of all kinds of things like kidney tubules and blood vessels and, and the gut lining, and just, it's all over our body. And what it breaks down the protein structure of that, so it's causing little tears, and that's why you have leaky gut and nasal leak, and also the peripheral nerve or the brain it runs on glucose, like we're powered by glucose. That's why we eat a lot of carbs. Not that we have, anyway, we won't get into carbs right now. So when glyphosate gets in your system and it causes a deregulation of glucose, so you're like too much glucose is being allowed in or used. I'm not good at explaining this. And so that causes a I always say myriad, but I think it's myriad. Okay. Of neurological issues. And in general, glyphosate has been proven recently or known recently to be a likely culprit in a lot of neurological diseases like autism and multiple sclerosis and Alzheimer's and other kind of mental disorders like anxiety and depression. There's a whole host of diseases that it apparently contributes to. Again, I'm not a scientist. I can't, for sure say all of this, and I'm not sure that anyone can. I shouldn't say that. It sure seems like there's some weird things happening out there. There's been increases in autism majorly over the years. Like, we started spraying glyphosate conventionally on crops. You're used conventionally on crops in 1996. And since about 95, 96, the rate of autism has increased like exponentially. I'm trying to think of what it was then, like 1 in 150, or maybe that was in 2000. But it's a dramatic increase in autism, and I definitely feel like it could be related to the total degradation of our soil and how we're growing our vegetables and crops. I feel like I'm not explaining this well, or I'm not getting to the point. Essentially, I think that our growing environment for vegetables, fruit, all crops has been majorly compromised, and there's been soil degradation, acidification, and there's so many chemicals that are sprayed on it and killing things that nature is meant to have. We are manipulating the natural process of growing things, and that has severe consequences on our health. And we're getting into a vicious cycle where plants are just I don't know if you'd call it genetically modifying themselves or becoming resistant to all these herbicides, then more herbicides have to be formed and sprayed on just more and more. And nature is resisting, and it seems pretty apparent. And I think humans are definitely feeling that in the proliferation, wow, of diseases that is occurring. I think we've become really disconnected with what food is and where it comes from, what it's grown in and who grows it. And I think that it's really important that we know all of those things, and that we are able to pinpoint where it came from, and maybe thank the people who grew it for us. I think it'd be great to know the farmers who are providing your food, and let him or her know how much you appreciate them. I just keep talking, and I feel like I'm not thinking through what I need to say. And I don't really plan these videos out, but I feel like when I do, they don't really turn out well. Also, I feel like it's not too bright, but it's kind of bright. It's making me look bright and shiny. Well, it's also weird to look at yourself. I guess I don't have to be, but it's kind of hard not to. I think that we don't realize how unhealthy we are and how healthy we could be. This isn't about losing weight and getting toned and looking great in that bikini or that Speedo. It's about disease prevention, and just overall improvement of your health, of your mental and physical and emotional health. I think what we're putting in our body affects us far more than we can really comprehend. And I know this, and I've known this, but it's just kind of become more obvious and apparent to me that there's so many things to worry about in the world, and think about and try to fix. And for me, I think food is what I'm going to talk about, and I feel like food is kind of connected to everything. I mean, it's history, it's law, it's science, it's healthcare, it's the economy, and the environment. All of those intertwine, and they all feed off each other, build off each other. And I think there are a lot of things that we could correct if we could correct our food system and what we're eating. I think it would prevent a lot of diseases and a lot of depression, and I think if we could be more connected to our food system, be more connected to people who are growing our food and cooking our food and cooking with others and eating it with others and sharing it with others, and maybe go visit some farms and help grow your food. And I just feel like we're missing that connection and that community link that we used to have. I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, because it does have to do with the community and connection, but there literally is, there are really bad substances, I think, in the food that we are consuming, and the soil is missing a lot of nutrients that it used to have. And also, glyphosate is, I meant to mention this earlier, it's a chelator, which it pulls certain nutrients out. It mainly, I think it's metals. Originally glyphosate was used as descaling of like boilers and pipes for like residential and commercial water systems, I believe. I mean, so glyphosate was used to get like calcium and other mineral buildup off, and that is going on our vegetables. That's going on our crops, and it's going in our body, and it's not a acute toxin, but it's a what would you call not acute toxin? Chronic toxin. So it's not just going to kill you immediately when you ingest it. It's going to build up over time. It's systemic. It accumulates. It's a systemic toxin. It's accumulating in the root tips, the shoot tips, and in the reproductive part. And that's like, we consume those. So we are consuming glyphosate. So a lot of these videos or these little challenges, I do them as really kind of selfishly, just to hold myself accountable. And if somehow it happens to help someone along the way, that's great. I mean, that would be wonderful. But I post it so that I have to do it, because I think this would be good for my health majorly. I thought I was eating well, and maybe it's because I'm eating so many conventionally grown vegetables that I have an even higher level potentially of glyphosate in me, and that's why I'm having a lot of autoimmune issues. I guess sometimes it feels like we've been duped. Our food system isn't working. It's not functioning correctly. We're not getting the results that we need or deserve, and I guess it sometimes feels like we're being lied to. And maybe the information's out there, we're just not looking for it. I just find it interesting that certain countries don't really allow glyphosate, or they don't allow much glyphosate. I think we have 16 to 160 times as much as they do in Europe, where we use that much more. I don't know, it just feels like something's off, someone's not telling the truth, and I felt that about a lot of things regarding the food system and more. And it's frustrating, it's hard to know what's what and to know what to do, and I think we can just do the best we can, and maybe it's baby steps. I don't think anyone necessarily has to go all local all the time like I'm about to do. We'll see how that turns out. I probably should have waited like another month so I have more options. So far I've been eating like turnip greens, sprouted. I just found sprouted beans yesterday at the turnip truck in Nashville that are local, and I've had some sweet potatoes, some really old sweet potatoes, like the shriveled up kind that have, I don't know, they're old, but I ate them. So gonna figure this one out, see what I'll be eating. I'm gonna be posting about it on Instagram and Facebook to keep myself accountable, and also on my old website, 423aday.com. 423aday.com, which is a humongous mess right now. It's hilarious from from a project road trip from a long while back. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see what happens. I'm doing this for a lot of reasons, just this little project. Thanks for listening. Sorry this is always jumbled and I should plan out more. Okay, bye guys. So, I had wanted to say something really profound and dramatic to end this video because I feel like it sort of fizzled out a little. But I don't really have anything profound to say other than I think the human body and the earth, they're both really extraordinarily resilient, and if we just allow them to restore and rebuild, it'll be okay. We just have to let that happen. Look how pretty things are that the earth makes. This is rainbow chard. It's beautiful, but This is not what I want to eat right now. I think I want a strawberry or an apple, and I can't really find those right now. So, yeah, kind of looks like, I like Twizzlers. I could pretend like that's a Twizzler. All right, well, bye. Yeah, okay, bye. We'll see what happens.